Hey everyone, I'm back again. I have this week's tutorial for you, and this week I wanted to show you guys how I do my contouring, because I pretty much contour my face every day because I think it's actually a lot of fun. So I wanted to show you guys how I do it and a couple of the different techniques that I've learned over the ages. So first of all, I want to apologize because you have to look at my face without any foundation on. So sorry. I cry when I look at it too. So, all right, jokes aside, here we go. All right, so what I'm going to be using today is, I'm not gonna lie, I'm spoiled, so I'm showing off. I'm gonna use my new Tarte foundation because it's kind of great. And then I have a couple of different contouring options that I'm gonna show you guys. But so here we go. All right, so the first thing I do is I get myself ready with a primer. I got a free sample of the Smashbox primer, and it's probably one of the best primers out there, so I really like it. A little tiny bit goes a really long way, and it's expensive, but it lasts forever and it works. Like this little thing will probably last me about a month using it like daily. So you only need, I don't know if you can see it because it's clear, you only need like a teeny tiny bit for your entire face. And I just kind of rub it on like a lotion and get it all over. And oh, my skin is so smooth. I did some like microdermabrasion thing this morning and it feels so smooth. It'll be gone by the end of the day. I'll feel grody and scaly again. So I'm just gonna marvel in it now. So I get that rubbed in all nice and everything. And if you're gonna do any color correcting or anything like that, now would be the time to do it. The only thing that I'm really gonna do, I have my NYX color correcting palette. I'm just gonna take some of the peach concealer there and just kind of cover up a little of my grossness because my skin does not like winter. So it like cracks and bleeds and everything, and I just look generally disgusting. So nothing terribly complicated as far as any sort of color correcting, just kind of layering my concealer. So now I'm going to move on to my foundation. This particular one is like a gel foundation, and it comes in like a fancy jar. I would definitely recommend this foundation because I'm only using this tiny little bit, and it's going to cover my whole face, and it has amazing coverage. It's about $40 for the jar, but I feel like it's gonna last forever. Only thing I'll say is because it's a gel foundation, it's very heavy. So great for really good coverage, but if your skin is really oily, I wouldn't recommend this one. It's good for dry skin though. So I'm using this Ulta buffing brush, and I'm just gonna kind of smush it into my face basically. I've found that this particular method with this foundation works really well to blend it in and everything. This brush cost me $16. And it's real soft, and it's really good for blending pretty much anything. You can use it for, liquid stuff as well as like powders, and it just blends really, really nicely, and it feels nice. It feels really nice on your face. So there is that added bonus. The only downside is that it's $16, so it can be pricey, but it'll last a while. So there's that too. All right, just double checking to make sure that it is blended to my liking. All right, we are ready to roll on that. So there we go. Foundation is done. Oh, it looks so much paler on the camera. Ooh. It looks so much paler on the camera. I promise this actually matches my skin tone. I sort of know what I'm doing. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to do is my concealer. This is the NYX Gotcha Covered concealer, and it's actually really, really great. It's got like coconut oil and stuff in it, which is great for my dry skin. And it only cost like $6. So I'm just kind of taking the tube. It's like a teeny tiny applicator tube, and just kind of dotting a little where I need concealer. The other thing too is that because I am so terribly pale, a lot of times my skin tends to highlight itself. So you're gonna I kind of just put it on like the high points of my face, because I basically highlight myself because I'm so awfully pale. And then I'm gonna blend it out with this thing. This is one of those weird like silicone sponges. I paid like $1 for this, and it's weird. I'll say don't probably use this as like an actual application method. It gets really streaky and doesn't blend things out very well, but it's good for just kind of like patting things into your skin. Like, you know, I use it for my concealer because it just kind of pats it down, I guess. And I don't have to use as much concealer because it's silicone, so it doesn't absorb the product at all. But also, you know, doesn't really work as well as the Facebook ads would have you believe. But it was $1, so I wanted to try it. All right, so I get my concealer blended in, do that, and then I just take, this is like e.l.f. face powder. The top fell off because it costs like $2, but I use this as like a kind of like setting powder almost, because it just kind of goes on real light and makes everything stick. So there's like a basic foundation for me to work with. So now is when I actually go on to the actual contouring. So basically the idea of contouring is to kind of accentuate the shape of your face. The whole point of highlighting and contouring is to really bring out your features and to make them stand out the best way that they can. So what you're going to do is you got to kind of play with your face a little in the mirror with like a light. But you have to figure out how light and shadow falls on your face. So you're going to be doing a lot of like this in the mirror. And you're going to look ridiculous, and people are going to walk by and be like, "What are you doing? What is wrong with you?" But not that this has happened to me in my life. It's happened to me. My husband thinks I'm crazy. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to contour the low points of your face where your shadows would fall, and you're going to highlight the high points of your face where light would fall. And, you know, it's going to really bring out what you've got. And it can also be used to shape your face a little differently. You know, not completely, but you know, if you're doing like a cosplay or something and you're doing a photo shoot and you want to try and like, you know, make your cheekbones look higher, or you want to really like hollow out your cheekbones and make them look, you know, really slender and, you know, like deep set, you can do that with a lot of stuff. And for me, I have this huge forehead. I look like a caveman, so I try to like bring that down a little. But so there's a couple of different options for you. There's any number of like cream contours and powder contours that work. I kind of use a little bit of a combination of the two, but I've been using cream contour lately because I really like how it blends into my skin. So This stuff is from Ulta. I actually got this in that big set that I got for Christmas. So I can't even tell you what like color this is, but Ulta does have like a cream contour set and it's got like 6 things in it, and I only really need the one. I only use like one color to contour my face. The other thing that you can do is you can use concealer that's much darker to do your contours. I'm not going to use this one because I actually ended up getting a color that was just slightly too warm, so I kind of got to wait until summer when I tan up to use that. But for me personally, I tend to go with cooler colors for my contour because I'm so pale. But go and swatch some colors and figure out what's best for you as far as colors. But so basically, your face shape is completely different than mine. So watching me do this, you're not really gonna get the exact contour that you need for your face. You're gonna have to play around with it a little. But there are some general rules of thumb that I can give you to follow. And the first is the rule of 3. All right. And that's basically gonna give you your basic contour. The rule of 3. Let's see if I can get my hand to do it. Rule of 3. All right. You're gonna do your forehead, your cheekbones, and your jawline. All right. Now, your face shape, like I said, is different than mine. So this isn't going to be like an exact science. You have to play around with it to figure out what works best for your shape. But I'll show you what I do so you can get kind of a general idea and at least, you know, get the techniques that I use. So, excuse you, dropping things. So I have this concealer brush. I think this was Crown Brushes. I can't even remember. It's not even labeled. But I got it in a Nipsey bag. e.l.f. makes a similar one. So basically what I do is I get the cream on there. All right. And I just kind of dot it on the outline of my forehead because you're gonna blend it out too. So if you're using cream contours, don't like put it all where you're gonna have it because you're gonna blend it out, and if there's too much, then it's gonna blend huge and you're just gonna look like an Oompa Loompa. So I do that, and then I do I tend to do my cheek contour a little higher than you're supposed to. General rule is go from the top of your ear and angle it down to the corner of your mouth, and that's gonna, you know, accentuate where your cheekbones are. I break the rule a little because I like to actually accentuate the high points of my cheekbones, so I go directly under my cheekbone, and that for me just kind of makes it look a little higher. And I do this one in a straight line because I have big cheeks, and so when I blend it out, it works. I promise. You'll see. You'll see. But so there's that. All right, and then I do my jawline, and what this can do is if you have the double chin like I do, it can help to kind of hide that a little. Because of the shape of my face, it's a little square at the bottom. I have like a weird face shape, but so like my chin is here and there's like these like almost hollow points. So I kind of try to, when I blend it out, just kind of accentuate that little hollow point in there, and it tends to slim my face down a little. But so as you can see, there's basically like a 3 drawn on your face. And then if you're going to contour your nose, the general rule that I follow with mine is you go right from the edge of your brows straight down and then to the tip of your nose. So let's see if I can do this without messing it up. And like my nose shape is really weird too. You know, I don't have like the standard Instagram model nose where it's like, it looks okay. I have like this like bulb on the end. That's fun to try and contour around, and it's kind of weird looking. And I'll take a whole lot of profile pictures because, ooh, ooh. So you can see you're basically drawing, you know, like a really long semicircle. And like I said, I'm going to keep saying it, you're going to have to play around with the shape of your face to kind of figure out what works best for you and what you want to do with it. I'm just taking what's left on my brush and just kind of smushing in my cheek contour a little more because I really like a real deep contour on my cheeks. So as you can see, I look completely ridiculous and it's great. But so that is step one. If you're using powdered contour, you're basically gonna, you know, put it on and blend as you go. I recommend getting a brush similar to this one. This is the Real Techniques contour brush, but it's basically like a tapered brush, and this works really well. And you dab the powder on and just kind of in the same general shape, just kind of blend it as you're going, and that will help create the same contour with less steps. So then what I'm going to do, because I'm using the cream stuff, is I'm going to take one of these beauty sponges. This is the Real Techniques one. I'm undecided about how much I like it, because I liked my Ulta one better, but this one's okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to get it wet, and then you're going to squeeze out as much water as you can. You don't want it to be wet. You want it to be damp, because if it's wet, it's just going to wipe off all your makeup, and that kind of defeats the purpose of putting it on your face. So gonna take it and just kind of like dab it on your face, and it is going to absorb some of it, but it'll all work out in the end. So basically the motion that I'm using is just a gentle dabbing motion, but you're also gonna kind of like not lift it up off of your face completely. If that makes any sense, it's like a press and swipe. As you come off of the pressing motion, you're going to kind of just barely swipe it across your face, and this will help to move the cream around and blend it into where it needs to be. This side is always darker and I don't understand it. Don't understand. Move some of this over here. And then when you do your forehead contour, I recommend definitely blending it right up into your hairline so that way it looks pretty seamless. When you're doing your nose, if you're using like the big end of a sponge, when you're doing your nose, use the little end because you can get into all of the little corners there. And basically you want to make this look as natural as possible. You want to make it look like it's natural lighting. So blend until you think you can't blend anymore and then blend some more. I tend to do my cheeks last just because, I don't know, I guess I save my favorite part for last. I don't know. I really like contouring. I think it's a lot of fun, which is why I do it pretty much every day. I think it's really neat to play around with lighting and angles and figure out how things kind of work, basically. So I do that a lot. All right, and then I go to the cheek, and I tend to blend it up more into my cheekbone, because like I said, I like a really deep, high cheekbone look, but that's more of a personal preference. As far as general shape, you kind of want it to be like a triangle where the point is towards the corner of your mouth. But it's really up to you what you want to do because it's your face. So, you know, you get to decide what you think looks best. This is just kind of how I do it and a general consensus from what I've seen from tutorials that I watched to learn how to do this. Because, you know, that's what I do with my life. I watch makeup tutorials and then I play around with the techniques that I learned to find what I like to do, and then I share my method. Because nobody does makeup the same way. This side is always darker. What even is this? This is ridiculous. So I take the like flat end of the sponge and just kind of use that to, I guess, lighten everything. And just kind of, like that's like my eraser side, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it. I always end up having to put more on this, on my right side. This is so weird. It's every time. Even if I put a ton of stuff on this side, it always just comes off of this side. You get to watch me struggle. I hope you enjoy it. Everybody's like, wow, your makeup is so great, but I struggle. So, hi, Oscar. The kitty came up to help me fix my face. So, as you can already see, excuse you, doing a video. Do you see this? Doing a video. Get off my window. I love you. Rude. So yeah, as you can see, this is, it's already, I look significantly more, chiseled, and you can actually really see the planes of my face and how light hits them and everything. So the next thing that I do is I go to blush, just for a hot second here. Where's my brush? Here we go. This is an Ulta thing that I got out of one of those makeup bags. It's just like a nice nude blush color, and I just kind of sweep it up across my cheekbones. And I like to do that right after I do my cream contour because it just kind of like blends everything together, I guess. And it really helps to define where my cheekbones are for the eventual highlighting process. So then what I do is that, like I said, I like a real deep cheek contours. I go to my NYX palette. This is a really good palette. It's $25. You can buy singular replacement things for it, which are about $5, I think. But it's really great. And I use my angled brush for it, and I just kind of go over my cheek contour real lightly just to kind of hollow it out a little more, because I don't know why, but I really like my cheekbones and I like to really bring them out. So I just blend it a ton, and then I take my sponge. You can use the sponge to blend out powder contours too, and to apply powder highlighter. It'll kind of like bake it. I don't really do the whole like concealer baking thing. I've never tried it. I might sometime, just to see. But I just kind of go through and kind of pat the powder in, and then I have my contour. As far as highlighting goes, like I said earlier, my face, because I'm so pale, basically highlights itself. I have yellow undertones in my skin, so I take like a yellow finishing powder because it's real sheer, and then I just take like a powder brush. I like my EcoTools one, and just kind of sweep it over the parts where you would highlight, which are like the high points of your face. So basically you're going to highlight the center part of your face. So your forehead, your nose, under your eyes, your chin, and then I like to really define my contours, so I highlight right under here just to really make it stand out. But because I'm using the powder as my highlight, it also tends to blend the bottom of my contour out. So I just go through and kind of do that. And then the last thing I do is my actual highlighting process. Something that I've recently started doing is using this. It's a strobing balm palette, and strobing is a completely separate process, and I will share that with you all at some point. But it's this basically, I wish the light would catch it. There's different colors in this. They're just like little highlighting creams. I'm just going to use this one right here, which is just a plain like white highlighter thing. And I just do this right on my cheekbones, like right on the top of your cheekbones, because it draws the attention there. And the tip of my nose, ooh, that's a lot. That came off faster than I wanted it to. And then my Cupid's bow. And I do this to really highlight specific parts of my face. And I really, really love my cheeks to just be insanely sparkly. I want, you know, Martians to see my highlight and be like, whoa, what is that? And then come take me away from this planet. You know, but, so I do it up on my cheeks and just kind of like curve it a little onto my brow bone so it kind of makes like a C. And then I go over it with my highlighter, my powder highlighter. I have my highlighting brush, and then this particular palette also came with a highlighter, so I just kind of go over it with that, and it really makes it sparkle. That for me is a personal preference. I wouldn't recommend using both unless you really, really want to stand out, because it is very, very sparkly. But if that is what you're going for, then by all means. And then I just kind of take what's left on the brush and just kind of go over the rest of where I need to highlight. And then I am done. This process, I slowed it down for the video, but this actually only takes me about 10 minutes to do. So with a little practice, you'll actually be able to do it really, really quickly. And then you have a really neat sculpted look to your face, and it adds a lot of depth if you're going to be taking pictures and stuff. So thank you guys for watching. I really hope that this helps you guys and kind of shows you a couple different techniques that you can use. Please like and share my videos around. I'm trying to get started as a professional makeup artist, so I'm really hoping to get my name out there and get noticed, and hopefully, maybe, have my own makeup line. That's kind of my end game. So like and share my videos around. If you'd like to donate towards getting me to school to get licensed, I would really appreciate that. There's a link in my profile and also in the video description. Any and all donations are completely appreciated. They go towards school, but they're not necessary. All my videos are going to remain free because I love doing this for you guys. So thank you so much, and thank you for continually supporting me, and I will see you all next week for another video. Mwah! I love you. Bye-bye.